Hello and welcome to Tea with Lily and the special event series. Today is season one, episode one. I know it sounds very Netflix-ish. I'm your host, Lily Najabensa, a brand strategist by day and an event host by night. We have a fabulous show today. And Jane, how are you doing, first of all? How are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. Lovely to be here.
Great, great. I know that you're going to give us so many tips that somebody said they love my hair. Thanks, Rosie. Ooh. ah so the what but I always want to start the show with news today. And I know it's the second day of back to school, back to work, back to normal this week. We've all been away. I hope you're all refreshed. And what I do know when I had young children was that September was such an expensive month to get uniforms, not just money as well. You have to traipse through the shops to get the right jacket, get the right uniform, get the right logo. And when the end comes, you just think, oh, I'm so ready for a brand new term. In terms, what else is on my mind? Weather. The weather is on my mind, and I know that August was such a washout. And then, Jane, today it's 28 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to be 30, 31. And I guess for those who count in Fahrenheit, it's something called Fahrenheit. Am I showing my age? It's about 90 degrees. How do we cope? Because it's been wet, it's been miserable. I've gone out and I've had lots and lots of layers on not quite knowing what to do. Hello, Teresa. Hello, LinkedIn user, watching for a while gardening. Good for you. Hi, Liz. Thanks for joining us. I'll come back to you guys in a minute. And today I think we're the warm-up act for the National Television Awards, because it started in about half an hour. I've always been a warm-up act for lots of famous people, I think. And I wonder if Anton Deck will win again. I did some. Yeah,
I
what do you
wonder.
think? Anyway, from what I hear, or I gather from Google, they've had 43 National Television Awards and
Wow.
19 BAFTA awards. But how about a bit of useless information, Jane? They started their careers and they had a music career with Sony Records called Let's Get Ready to Rumble. I looked at the video and it was cringeworthy. And I'm sure they look back and think, what were we thinking? So without further ado, let's get ready to rumble. So Tea
Yay.
with Lily, Tea with Lily is powered by Links Media, the brand behind the brand, and it's a space for informal discussions with a relaxed format where we chat about the great and the good. Join me to chat about topical issues over a cup of tea. And guests from all walks of life come in and share their experiences with tips and tricks for professionals and entrepreneurs interested in career growth. Now, the topic today is about how to market your event, and this series is all to do with the event industry. And I'm so glad that Jane said yes to come on the Magic Sofa and to talk about how to market your event. And Jane Rogers is known as the word wizard. So Jane, welcome to the Magic Sofa. How are you doing and what are you drinking?
Hi, welcome. Thanks for inviting me. Well, today, because it's so warm, you can't see this very well, I've got my water with me. This is
Okay.
just water. There's no gin in it yet.
Oh.
Um, normally, I would have a herbal tea or a coffee, but it's water today.
Mm. Okay, I'm having water for now. We'll see what happens later. See what happens later. Those who know me know I like my fizz. So now, those of you who've joined us, regardless of where you've joined us from, mainly from LinkedIn right now, can you tell us where you're calling from? Because there are people from all over the world who normally join these sessions. So tell us where you're calling from, your just your town and your country, please. Okay, we haven't seen what. Yeah, everybody's gone silent, but they'll come back. Whoever is gardening, I'm sure it's in the UK somewhere because the weather is glorious. And we'll come back and you can put the chat in. And London, Rosie says London, woohoo! My town, our town. Well, I'm not quite London, but there we go. And we sort of, I don't know. I'm in Bromley, and it's not quite London, but it's the London borough, isn't it? But it's in Kent.
It's a London borough in Kent, yes. So I like to say it's best of both, really. Yeah, okay. I'm also in Bromley.
Oh, we've got a lot of Kent people here. So Teresa is in Kent. Lord Darlington is in Grays, Essex. LinkedIn user says Bromley, Kent. So we've got a few Bromley people. We've got Liz from Croydon. Welcome, everybody. And if you're joining us on Catch Up, add that too, because I like to see where people are joining from. But I think we're quite strong in London. We've got Shirley, Croydon. Oh, the Croydon massive are here. I love that. So let me go introduce Jane properly before I get my wrist slapped. Jane Rogers is a content writer, trainer, and speaker with over 24 years experience in marketing and PR, also referred to as the word wizard. She focuses on helping businesses craft compelling written content and attracts the right clients. Working both with digital and print, Jane writes website content, blogs, newsletters, mission statements, annual reports. Oh God, that must be boring, Jane. Annual reports, brochures, articles, and more. She also loves sharing her expertise through online workshops, talks, and groups, or one-to-one training sessions. I've joined one of her groups. I've joined her group sessions, and they're fabulous. So if you get an opportunity, do that. She's based in Beckenham, Southeast London. Jane has been running her own consultancy since 2011. She works with clients locally, nationally, and globally. Jane also heads up Beckenham Business Association, Beckenham Posse, to inspire, connect, and develop local businesses through a series of events, speakers, and training sessions, including annual Beckenham Business Day. Jane and team provide support, advice, friendship to help businesses flourish. That is a lot. That is a lot. So, welcome, Jane. And I'm so glad that you said yes, because events can be a nightmare. And I cut my teeth through. I've been in the events industry as, Jane has disappeared. What has happened? What has happened? Bear with me. Jane, come back. Come back, Jane. All is forgiven. Come back, Jane. Welcome back, Jane. All is forgiven.
I got cut off, I think.
That's the power of
connection cut off.
That's the power of live video. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. You know, life is like that. And actually,
I'm here anyway.
Then we're not doing everything right. So hi, Charles. Charles, where are you calling? Where are you joining us from? Charles Thompson from Facebook. But let's carry on. Jane, do not disappear again, okay?
I'll try not to.
My blood pressure cannot take this. No, blood pressure cannot take this. So in terms of, let's kick off the discussion, right? People think, haven't been in the industry as a speaker myself, as somebody who's just there to observe, or I've been a guest, especially from the guest side, we tend to think that it's all one big jolly. And because, we're there, we're being served, everything is fine, whether we've paid up for the ticket or we're celebrities, so we get everything free, including the goodie bags. But is it really? I know because I've done behind the scenes as well, and I know it's not a jolly. What's your view? What's your view about that in terms of just events generally?
Yeah, well, of course, it isn't a jolly. It can be really good fun, particularly as you're not normally doing it on your own. You normally need a team to organise an event, but it is really hard work, and as we'll see, requires a lot of planning and thinking through. And I've organised events in all shapes and sizes, even though my majority of what I do is marketing and marketing the events. I've obviously been involved
Mm.
with events of all shapes and sizes for, well, even since I was quite young, to be honest.
Oh, really?
So
Now, how
yeah,
young?
my dad, well, my dad, well, he still does with my brother now, run a catering company.
Okay.
So getting involved with events for them, behind the scenes, actually serving food and catering, that's part of an event, of course. And then I have organised events at uni, and obviously then throughout my marketing career,
Mm.
marketing events is not the only thing I do, obviously, because I focus on the writing now, but it's a big part of what I do, and particularly now with the business association as well. Then yes,
Yeah.
we've put a lot of work into organising our events throughout the year, and I couldn't do it, on my own.
Yeah. What I do know is also admin intensive, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to sort of think about it from the helicopter view all the way to the ground, and you have to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
everything is working from getting a venue all the way to post event stuff, promotion
Mm-hmm.
after because the
Indeed.
event doesn't stop once the event finishes. There's other if you want to do another event. So yes, I know it's a lot of hard work. So I take my hat out to people who organize events. Now, what's been, I know I have had some awful events, but today I want to I want to have a positive chat. You guys know that I'm all about positivity. Um, what's been the best event that you've attended? Not hosted, because I know you put on great events, attended as a guest.
So I was thinking about this, and I've actually come up with a couple of different ones. One that really sticks out was, I think it was called Eco Build or something like that. It was a trade show, and trade shows aren't always the most exciting events to attend, I know, but you obviously often have to do them for work or for business. And this one was all around eco construction, construction and green homes and all of that kind of thing. And this was probably 10 years or more ago, and it was at Excel. But what I really remember about it was going along and actually having access to the speakers, being able to see the speakers. They had some quite high profile people there, as well as industry experts. And you could wander around, you could find your way around easily. You knew what was there, you knew who was exhibiting,
Mm,
but you knew who the speakers were, and you could go and listen to them and hear some quite inspiring talks.
yeah.
And then there was in some cases there's opportunity to go and meet with them and talk to them afterwards. So that really sticks out. Another one that sticks out for me is when I went to an awards do at the Natural History Museum in London.
Okay. Mm,
Um, and that was a seated dinner. But we literally sat, it was at the time when they had the dinosaur in the entrance hall, and we sat underneath or around the dinosaur, the skeleton of the dinosaur, to have our meal and have the awards. And the awards, then there was a stage near the stairs, and that was just such it's a fantastic venue anyway. But just have it to be there for an awards do, and if
mm.
we were the only people there, obviously the sort of 200 or so that were the awards do, it was just such a fantastic atmosphere.
Okay. I mean, those sound like brilliant events that I wish I had been invited to, but never mind, never mind. So we're going to ask some questions now about the tips that we're the really juicy, the meat as to why we're here. So you've got some tips here. What would be your number one tip in terms of organizing and marketing your event?
Well, the first thing, as with any event or anything that you're marketing, really, is to have a plan. So have a plan for your event as a whole and for the
Mm,
marketing of it. What are you wanting to achieve? What do you need to do? When do you need to do it by? All of those kind of things capture in a plan. But for your marketing, think about, well, who is the event for? Who are we trying to attract?
mm,
How are we going to attract them? How are we going to get bums on seats or people through the door? What are we going to do? And start to put everything down, and then put deadlines by it, timeline by it, before you start working on your event. And because then you'll be clear, you know what you need to do and when, and then obviously where you need to bring other people in as well. That's where you know, and then there's less chance of things going wrong, and you can build in contingency,
mm.
if for things, because there's often something goes wrong somewhere along the line, so you can build that contingency in. So that's my first tip, really, is to plan it out.
So you talk about mapping out the event before you start.
Mm.
For somebody who's sort of new to the industry or trying, just cutting their teeth, and they're learning to how to start the event. Would a spreadsheet do? Would they get a Word document? Do they have to? I mean, is it something that something that they can do um, on a piece of paper or a matchbox,
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah.
What would be the best
Um,
way of mapping that thing?
Um, uh, Different people work differently, of course. So however you like to plan things, but I would say you can start by getting a piece of paper and just scrawling all over it and drawing things on, connecting it up, or putting stuff on post-it notes and
Mm,
moving them around, particularly when you want to put a timetable together. That works really well, and not just for event planning, but for other things. But I think also Excel spreadsheets work really well, or Word documents or Google Docs, however you prefer to work with them. But you can use a simple spreadsheet. It's great for putting a timeline together of what needs doing, and you can color code it and categorize it. And there are, of course, tools out there to help you with this, and tools to help you put an event together as well. But if you're just starting out, use a notebook, piece of paper and pen, or an Excel spreadsheet. I would say.
okay. So piece of paper, put a piece of paper down. You can. What about something people talk about mind maps? I can't do those. Would that help?
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you use mind maps, it can help you. You can have different categories for different areas of the event, such as the venue, the catering, the marketing, the people who are coming along, the invitees, invitations, time frame, that kind of thing. And if mind maps work for you, they're not something I tend to use, but if they work, why not try them? Or
Oh,
even online, digital tools, things like Trello or Access. Microsoft Access is can potentially work for that. Or I know it's not called Access, Microsoft Project, I think, something like that. There is a project management tool, and lots of other online tools that can help you with project management, which is essentially can help you with event planning as well.
okay. Thank you for that. Now, what would be the sort of the next question in terms of registration and what have you? Because half the time people say they're going to come and they turn up at the last minute and all of that. That must be one of the biggest headaches for event organizers. Those last minute people who show up and frustrate us. How do you manage that, or make sure that that doesn't happen?
Yeah, so of course you want to get people through the door of your event, and so you need to, whether you're selling tickets or giving them away free, whatever. Somehow I would use a ticketing platform such as Eventbrite, for example. There are others, and certainly you're always going to get, I think, a last minute rush. You'll get some people who will buy early on, and you'll get some people who will buy last minute. But a good way to ensure you're getting some numbers early on is to offer an early bird incentive. So if you're charging tickets, maybe have a lower ticket price before a certain date, and then you put the price up after that date, or offer other sort of incentives if it's a free event for people to sign up. Sooner for you, so you've got an idea of numbers, because I think that's, knowing your numbers for your venue will help with a lot of things with the marketing. Are you going to put on a successful event? Have you got enough catering? Have you got enough this and that, enough chairs, etc., etc. So yes, early bird incentives are all good.
And in terms of early bird incentives, what would be a good guide in terms of percentage reduction?
I mean, that varies really, depends on your overall ticket price as well. You can give like £5 off, £10 off, or you could give 50% off, or you could give 10% off. I don't think there's any right or wrong. It's what feels comfortable for you. And when you're obviously looking at your ticket prices, particularly if you need help to pay for the event, you need to look at what you can realistically offer as a discount.
Okay. Because I know that if, for instance, I have an early bird, but if it's a substantial reduction, I'm more likely to grab it early. So if the ticket is £100 and it's selling for 75, I know it's a 25% reduction. So I would, the early bird is a 25% reduction. And I think it's a psychological thing as well. If you're getting a deal, then so I think sometimes the percentage, if it's big enough, and the early bird stops early enough as well, I think big incentive, early bird stops early enough. So if you have an event in December and the early bird finishes it at the end of November, you've got another 6 weeks to 2 months for others to join in. By that time you do have your numbers pretty much, and the event hopefully would have been paid for by then. So I think the size of your the people turning up is what will decide how much the percentage is. So yes, so that's early bird. Now, in terms of marketing, what would be the best approach in terms of, now we've got so many different ways of promoting our event? And Jane, I'm so sorry that I sent the WhatsApp thing like less than an hour before, and I thought Jane is going to kill me. This is marketing, a huge marketing faux pas. Don't give people 10 minutes to turn up. So I knew you were sitting there thinking, oh God, Lily, what am I going to do with you? So what you shouldn't do is to send people stuff at the last minute, but at least sometimes it's better, it's better to have it that way than not do it at all. That's what I was thinking. So how would you do it? Sorry?
I would actually say though, don't make it your only thing that you do very last minute. But actually sending out reminders an hour before, or a couple of hours before, or even 10 minutes before, if it's an online event like this one, then that reminds people. And you might pick up some last minute people who didn't know about it and realize that they're available. But yes, you need to start to give people notice and to launch your event and say that it's out there and it's happening and when it's happening. And one of the things I often find frustrating is I might get an email from somebody about an event, or I might see something on social about an event, but then they don't say exactly when it is or where it is, or they don't make it clear. You have to dig around for the information either in the email or go to their website or look way down in their caption. Make it clear when and where your event is from the outset, so that people can check and put it in their diary, and tell them fairly early on. I mean, you don't want to tell them too early and then they forget, but once you launch it, then you can keep reminding them and drip feeding your content content to all your marketing channels, whether that's your social media, your email marketing on your website, verbally to people if you go to events and networking events, or whether you've got flyers, leaflets, if you're going to do leafleting, if you're going to put adverts in either online or in print media, or however you're going to advertise it. There's obviously lots of different marketing channels you can use, and you need to use what's best for you and for your event and the audience you're trying to attract. Where are your audience? Go to them. Drip feed it, send them the event it's happening, remind them it's happening, give them snippets of why they should attend, but what are they going to get out of it? Who are they going to see? Who are they going to hear from? What are they going to learn? All of these things can be social media posts. And for example, with our Beckenham events, particularly the business day we've got in November, we're just launching it this week. Then we will start to announce the different speakers that we've got, and then we will start to talk about the exhibitors who are coming along. So it's a constant feed. So you're sending out some consistent messages, and you're reminding people it's happening, or you're giving them something a little bit different, and sort of almost teasing them with the information, and enticing them to come along, so that throughout the whole period from launch to the event, you are attracting people to sign up and come along.
Okay, thanks for that. In terms, so for the BBA, the Beckenham Business Association event, Beckenham Business Day, this is me thinking, if I was going to get a ticket, I'd like to know who the speakers are. So what comes first? Look, you've launched the event, you've given yourself 2 months, because it's on the 1st of November, you've given yourself 2 months. Right. But would it help if people knew who the speakers were at the beginning?
Yes, it will. And we're launching the event itself first, because a lot of people like, in this particular case, a lot of people like the event. And then we use the drip feed of the speakers as I said, other incentives as we go down. And the reason we don't launch them all at the same time is because we are still waiting for some to be confirmed, and we're still waiting for information from some of them. But we will then absolutely, I think, if you've got speakers or other attractions at an event, you need to let people know beforehand. And yes, obviously some people will wait until they know before signing up. So don't leave it till the very last minute to announce those. Certainly for the business day, we'll be doing that over the coming few weeks, so that people do know, and we will be putting up an outline schedule so people know when to come as well. Because for some events, if you've got a conference, like a one-day conference as the business day is, or even something over several days, people want an idea of what's going to be on and when, because if they can't come for the whole period, they want to know when they can come in and come to part of it. So yes, definitely people want to know that kind of information, and tell them as soon as you're able to.
Okay, so tell people who the people who are coming, or the main people who are coming, and when the slots are likely to be. I think that really helps for busy people, busy entrepreneurs, busy executives to map out their day. I like that word, map out their day. The word from Jane today is mapping. Now, what else in terms of another tip that you might want to tell us for how to market your event to make sure that it's successful, whether it's the day itself, whether it's your financial targets, if you're selling tickets to cover things, you're selling to make profit, whatever it is. What else can we do to market it to make it successful?
So there's obviously lots of things you can do. I think my kind of biggest tip here really is, aside from launching through your marketing channels, if you've got the ability or the capacity to, with what you're doing or with your team, send out some personal invitations. If you're inviting people to your wedding or to a party, you send out invitations. So you can send out invitations as well, whether it's through email, or if you do it through social media, or however you do it, personal invitations to people that you really want to come as well, and that makes them feel special and makes them more likely to come along. But also to spread it wider, there are things like event listing sites that you can list your event on. So if you put something on Eventbrite, for example, they will push it out to their followers, to people who subscribe, to get information from them. Or if it's an event in central London, they send out information to people who are interested in that. Or if it's in Manchester, they'll do that kind of thing as well. Or people interested in the topic. Or there might be local listing sites, or your local newspaper. They might have somewhere where they can list it online. And again, these things often then go out by email to people, so you're reaching a wider audience there as well. So event listing sites, there used to be a lot more. I think they have changed over recent years. But to put events on, and some of them charge you, of course. Others you can list your event for free. So it's about having a look at what you've got, what's out there locally, and doing a bit of an online search as to where you can list your event. But I say mostly your local newspaper and some local websites will do that, or sites related to the topic or the industry of your event as well.
Okay. What about your local libraries? Would they list your event for you?
They might do. Yes, they might do.
Because
That's worth asking them.
Most libraries now have a business function attached to them, or maybe they've always had, but now I'm seeing more of the work that they're doing. For instance, Bromley does a fantastic job in terms of entrepreneurs, business people having that hub and all of that. So I'm just wondering whether it's worth asking the libraries to support businesses or events.
It's definitely worth asking them, particularly if it's a business or a community event. They may take flyers for it, or they may share it. If they've got a newsletter or an email list, they may send it out. That's definitely true within Bromley, and I think, and also Croydon has a startup. Croydon and Bromley has startup Bromley within the library, and they will send things out. It's got to be business related. So if your event isn't business related, then you need to look at obviously other channels. But it's still worth asking, I think, in your local library, local community centres, even local cafes and things like that. They will often have a notice board, and you can put a flyer up or a leaflet up or something about it as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good tip as well. I had a question from a Facebook contact. Let me see what that question before I miss. So is from Hazel Nathaniel James, and her question was, let me see, hold on. Sponsorship. How do you approach sponsors, and is there a template, is there a framework? I know sponsorship can be such a hard thing, but I guess for you, for the BBA and other things that you do, you have to forget sponsorship. So tell us how we can do that.
Yes, a lot of public events these days particularly do need sponsorship to help them run, and that's definitely true of BBA. So what we do is we put together a sponsorship brochure with different packages in it. And we have a headline sponsor, gold, silver, bronze, etc. And we've packaged them that way, and we set out what they get for that amount of money. And obviously, the bigger the amount of money, the more they get. And what they get really depends on your event and what you're able to give. But for example, our headline sponsor gets a speaking slot, gets a stand at an exhibition stand, and they get to be headline sponsor and mentioned as headline sponsor throughout all of the marketing and on the website in the run up to the event. Lots of shout outs on social media, etc. And they get in the printed program and things like that, and that's scalable depending on the amount that people give. But you don't have to do it like that. I mean, I would obviously, if you're looking for sponsorship, look at how much you need, and come up with a list of people or companies or businesses. It's usually slightly bigger businesses that have some budget to give that will are more likely to sponsor you, and approach them. And when you're requesting sponsors, you know, you need to talk about it in ways that, you know, why should they sponsor you? What do they get out of it? What benefit is it to them? And what exposure will they get for it? Because people who are sponsor are going to do so because they like helping, but also because they are going to get something out of it. I mean, you know, you see on, you know, in sports on the TV, you see, you know, all this sponsorship, you know, names across the players' chests and around the pitch and all of that kind of thing. It's because the companies want the brand exposure. So if you can give a company brand exposure in sponsorship, then that's where they're more likely to say yes. So, you know, make sure they are clear on what they're going to get out of it. And then just ask people, approach people, and you're going to have to be prepared to approach lots of people and have people say no, as you do with, you know, plenty of other things when you're asking for money. But you know, give it a go and see. You never know who will say yes.
Interesting. Bronze, silver, gold, platinum, headline sponsor, all of that. As you're speaking, one thing, and you know, I can't leave you without saying brand, because there has to be an alignment, right, between the brands. Because what I do know is that you can't ask Disney to sponsor an event that involves alcohol, because you see what I mean. So you have to understand that the brands are aligned so that they would want something out of your brand, and you would make sure that what they're doing doesn't affect your brand, because if your values
100%.
are different, then there will be something that it will not work. So yes, make sure that your brand, the brands are aligned. So sponsorship, I'll have to remember what you said. You said make sure they have a package. Because I'm writing all down, package accordingly, and make sure that the brands are aligned.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. There's no point approaching people who are just not going to be interested in what you do, or it doesn't align in any way, definitely.
Yeah, gosh, we've learned a lot today, Jane. How can we, and I know the BBA is coming up again, and guys, Jane and the group of the BBA people allowed me to grace their stage and host their event last year. And they've asked me back, but only for a smaller portion this time. They've asked me back. So it means that as an event host, I'm doing something good, or I did something good last year, for me to still be talking to Jane and the BBA people, and also to be taking part in this year's event. So I'm really, really excited about that. So Jane, when is the BBA again? I'm going to put that in here. And where is it?
So it's Beckenham Business Day, and it's on Wednesday, the 1st of November this year, between 10 and 5. It's an all-day event, and it's at Azalea Hall in Croydon Road in Beckenham. I can share the Eventbrite link for anyone to find out further information and tickets afterwards, if you'd like me to. And it's on between 10 and 5, and we'll have speakers and exhibitors and that's different things going on throughout the day. Delighted that Lily, you're coming along to chair the speaker panel at the end.
Thank you.
And we've got speakers covering topics such as business development, artificial intelligence, and we also like to have a couple of well-being speakers. So we've got someone talking about breath work, and we've got workshops on search engine optimization and domains and hosting for websites, on cyber security, and a number of other different talks throughout the day, which we're still forming up and we'll be announcing soon. So yeah, it'd be great if anyone watching wants to come along, if you're not already planning to.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking for it. Last year was really good. The selection, the speakers were really, really, really fabulous. So I'm sure it will. It was the same caliber of people that will come this year as well. So Jane, thank you so much. Can you tell us how we can find you so you can put some wizardry into the words that we want that we want to write? How can we find you?
Certainly do.
Hmm?
Yes, so I will share my details. I was going to wave my. I actually have a magic wand now. I'm going to wave my magic wand, and I can tell you you can contact me via my website, which is janerogerspr.co.uk, or you can find me on social media. I'm most active on LinkedIn, which is Jane_Rogers PR. And LinkedIn, you can just search Jane Rogers and I think I come up, but I'm Jane Rogers 1 if you need to search me. So I was one of the earlier Jane Rogers is on LinkedIn. And I'm also on Facebook and Twitter, but I'm not very active on those. Again, just search Jane Rogers or Jane Rogers PR, and I should come up.
Okay, I think I've got everything in there, and I'm sure will come up at some stage. What,
Fantastic,
Jane?
yes, I can see that.
So, Jane, my mom always says they can't go to somebody's house and not take a gift. So, what gift
Yeah.
have you brought me and my viewers and listeners? What gifts are you bearing for us?
So I've got a couple of gifts actually. I was feeling in a generous mood today. So I have a free content checklist that you can download from my website, and that helps you to plan out your marketing content. So you could use it for helping you to plan the marketing for your event.
Okay.
It sort of takes you through 10 different steps that I use for all my content and marketing planning. And because we've been talking about mapping out and planning today, planning content, planning marketing is something I do a lot of. And I run quarterly marketing review and planning workshops. The next one of which, the autumn one, is coming up on the 14th of September, which is next Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
That's an in-person event in Bromley. And that's a 2-hour workshop in which we'll review what you've been doing so far for your marketing,
Yeah.
see what's working and what isn't. We celebrate your successes because I think that's really important for people to celebrate what they've actually achieved, because we don't do that too often. Very often we don't give ourselves credit, do we? Very often.
True.
And then we will look at some goal setting and some planning and some ideas for your marketing, whatever that is, for your business, for your event, whatever you're wanting to market. We'll look at that for the next few months and start thinking ahead into 2024. And so I am giving away one free place on that workshop for anyone who wants to come along next Thursday morning. That's the 14th of September. So I thought it would be quite fun if anybody is interested in that. My competition giveaway is I'd like people to put in the comments if they'd like to come, the reason why they want to come, why you think coming on my autumn marketing, content planning and review workshop will help you. And I'd like really creative answers, please. And I will select one of those as a winner to come along. So if you're going to enter this, you need to be available to come along on the morning of the 14th of September between 10:30 and 12:30 in Bromley.
14.
And obviously, if you don't win but you want to come along with a ticket, I'm happy to share the ticket link as well for people to buy tickets. But I will give away one place if you can tell me the most creative reason as to why you think you should come on my workshop.
Okay. I'll put the dates and times, and then we'll put the actual question in afterwards, because I don't think I can grab all that. So,
no, that's fine.
Jane, oh, thank you so much for coming to share your wisdom and the importance of planning, because it's if we don't plan, if there's a saying that if you don't plan to succeed, then you're planning to fail, or something like that. And it's so important. We sometimes forget how important planning is, and we just jump in because we're excited to deliver something without thinking about what the plan is. And if you're going on a long journey, or a journey that you haven't taken before, what some of us remember the A to Z, right? We used to have those. Now we had TomToms. That's another era. Now we just have the Google Maps, or if you have one of those fancy cars, it's plugged into that. So having a plan helps us to deliver better results, or actually get to our destination without getting lost. So thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon at one of the events, and definitely at the BBA event on the 1st of November. So everybody else, I'm going to shout the people that came in: Liz, Rosie, and a few people: Charles, Shirley, Louise, Daniels, Andrew, Jane. I'm putting my glasses on because I can't see. Andrew Dunsmore, Lord Darlington. Some people are just LinkedIn users. They're probably your connections. That's why I can't see their names. Teresa is my connection. Thanks for joining, Teresa. And everybody else that's come and that will join after the event. We'll share everything through the links, through LinkedIn and to Facebook. And again, my name, thanks for tuning into Tea with Lily. My name is Lily Nadumensa, founder of Links Media. And I'm always here to answer or help you answer some of your burning questions over a cup of tea or whatever takes your fancy at that particular moment. So until next time, look after yourself, and may everything that you wish for be the least that you receive. Take care now, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.